Welcome to Sovereign Rising Podcast, the sacred space for mystic mothers awakening their truth and raising sovereign kids. I'm your host, Emily Miota Lundergan, energy healer, cycle breaker, and devoted mama to a new earth child. Here on Sovereign Rising Podcast, we dive into belief work, chakra wisdom, spiritual parenting, and what it truly means to raise a conscious child in a world that's just waking up. You're not here to do it the old way. You're here to rise. Let's begin. Welcome back, Sovereign Moms, to another episode of Sovereign Rising. This is probably going to be a shorter episode, but there's something that has really come alive for me over the past little bit. And as my daughter is getting a bit older, I'm really tuning into all the little energetic practices that I want to make sure that I am incorporating into her day to ensure that her brain and her reticular activating system is looking for abundance and health and things to be grateful for and all the blessings in her life. And this really brought me to affirmations. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with affirmations. As an adult, I don't believe that they work. Because when you are saying affirmations, you are working with that 5% conscious mind, trying to override the 95% subconscious mind, most likely telling you the opposite of what you were saying in that affirmation. However, there are pros and cons to using affirmations with your child. And that's what I want to talk about in today's episode. Because affirmations, for the longest time, was something that everyone was suggesting to do. Say affirmations over and over and over again, and you'll manifest what you want. And the more and more information that's coming out, the more we're still realizing that it doesn't actually have as much power as we intended it to have. And there's actually something that's so much better. And now that my daughter is at an age where she's looking at herself in the mirror more, she's understanding more of the words that I'm saying. Affirmations do have their place as she's growing up. And I'm also going to share with you something that's even more powerful. So I plan on incorporating both of these practices I'm going to share with you today, affirmations, and then the next level up to affirmations. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I'm here just to share with you some of the things that I'm doing with my daughter, that I'm sharing with my clients, and that has given me so far amazing results to ensuring that my daughter feels safe, held, supported, loved, and taken care of. Because that's the primary goal here. I want to make sure that once she leaves this golden period of those 7 years, once she's out of that theta brainwave state, I want to ensure that she has the core beliefs that are necessary and needed in order for her to have the confidence and the self-love to go after what she wants in life. That's the goal here, for her to be free, for her to be sovereign and remain sovereign. So if you are new here, share with the mama, share the love. Let's open up the discussion about this. And if you have not followed yet, I would truly, truly appreciate that. Everything is welcome. Nothing is expected. My goal here is really to expand this mission and movement of changing how we are parenting. No longer coming from a gentle parenting standpoint or even a conscious parenting standpoint. We are, again, going above and beyond, and we are going straight to energetic parenting. Because from this place, when we are working with energy as a mother, anything is possible. This is why the women who are taking the TheHealing Seminar with me have cleared trauma that they've been holding on to for years. They cleared their birth trauma with their child and on their child. This is how they're able to be cycle breakers and stop the pattern of generational programming. They've been able to clear their lineage. They've been able to lower their kids' fever in under 5 minutes. When we go straight to the roots, straight to the energy, anything is possible. And when you believe anything is possible as a mother, you are setting your child up to believe the same. So when we talk about affirmations are those statements. When we work with theta healing, and in that theta brainwave state, and we work with the programmings, we say things as statements because that's how the programming is instilled in the mind. It's not instilled as a question, it is instilled as a statement. This is why when I do the muscle testing with the moms who are doing this work and in my containers, we don't say, I believe that I am, or do I believe that I am unworthy? We'll say, I am unworthy, and we'll see whether your body responds with a yes or a no. When you are saying affirmations, you're doing the same thing. You are wanting to override the programming that might tell you I am unworthy with an affirmation that says I am worthy. When we are doing it with your kids, because especially if they're in those first 7 years, their brain is actually primarily in theta, meaning that any statement that you tell them, it actually gets logged away as part of their belief system. So affirmations are actually so powerful to say and have kids say. I encourage you to use affirmations in those first 7 years to start laying the groundwork of saying I am statements and really instilling in them the programs of self-love, of confidence, of inner beauty, outer beauty, self-worth, feeling safe. It's also a beautiful opportunity to show your kids the power of I am statements. And that whenever we say an I am statement, it is a spell. You are putting that spell on you. So if you want to have a life that is filled with freedom, if you want things to go with ease, grace, and flow, say, I am always allowing things to flow to me. I am rich. I am abundant. I am supported. And kids will have fun doing this. Now, that is the pro side of it. Because they're in that theta brainwave state, anything that they are experiencing and hearing gets logged away as a thought and as a program. This is why in those first 7 years, you better be doing your inner work, or you're going to be passing down the same trauma that you picked up from your childhood to your kids. This is why I have containers like the Mystic, where we're continuously doing activations and clearings, and I'm having you take a deep dive and look at yourself and your programming and asking yourself, what do you believe is possible, and changing it. This is why I encourage all moms to be theta healers, because it gives you the opportunity and the tools to get back into that theta brainwave state on command. So that way you can clear that programming from yourself. So you're no longer passing it down to your kids unconsciously. Affirmations are amazing, amazing ways to start to build the layers in their subconscious that tells them whatever that affirmation is. Now, here's the con. If you are starting this after 8 years old, after 7 years old, it won't have as much of an effect. Because if your child in those first 7 years experienced trauma, were made to feel like they weren't good enough, unwanted, unloved, unsafe, that is their primary programming. So you having them say affirmations once they're out of that theta brainwave state, once they're past that age where they've instilled all that programming, now you're working with their conscious mind. So it's going to have 5% effect on their being, rather than those first 7 years when it has 95% effect on their being. And when I say being, I mean how they show up, how they feel about themselves, their physical health, mental, emotional health. Those first 7 years are in that malleable brainwave state. They're so suggestible, which is why your role is so important. You need to be so tuned into your energy, your programming, and be able to help and alter and repair any programming for them. So that way they are grounded and secure once they leave those 7 years and once they enter that next cycle. But if you're starting affirmations after 7, you're only working with the 5% conscious mind. The other con of using affirmations, even in those first 7 years, is that children's belief systems and how children pick up belief systems isn't exclusive to just what they experience. In Theta Healing, we actually dive deeper into the 4 ways and the 4 levels in which belief systems can instill on. One of them is the core level beliefs. These are the ones that you pick up in your childhood from watching your parents and watching how they interact with everything from their body, money, relationships, the world. But that's not the only way. The second, I feel like it's like the second most important one, and this is one of the pillars of my business, is to support moms in this area and clearing this level of beliefs, and that is a genetic level. Meaning that your programming as a mother, your belief systems are being passed down to your kids through DNA, through skin to skin contact. And the moment you conceived your child, or the moment your child was conceived, you started passing it down through the umbilical cord, meaning that your child is holding on to your programming. And there are two more levels to this as well. So because we can't just focus on what they're experiencing in this lifetime and in their first 7 years, affirmations may not work if you as a mother are holding on to the programmings that are opposite of those affirmations. So if you are holding on to programmings and beliefs that I am unworthy, I am ugly, I am unlovable, but you're telling your child to say things like, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I am loved. Yeah, they may hold on to it on some level, but they're still holding on to your programmings that tell them the opposite. So they'll still most likely be acting out in ways that live out that programming, even with the affirmations. So there are pros and cons to using them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You can use them, but just bear in mind that you also have to do your own inner work to heal your programming to make sure you are not holding onto those same programs. I have a bunch of YouTube episodes and more continuously come out in order to support these podcast episodes. So go watch some of them. They'll have you understand if you are holding on to these programs and different ways for you to find out if you are, because that will support you on knowing if you can use affirmations with your kids or if it's better to use the second option. So the second option, so this is like affirmations 2.0, is to start having your kids ask questions. So you can have them say, what are you most grateful for today? Now, the way the brain works is that it has to answer a question. And this is how most of the time, even as adults, you've probably experienced this. Maybe you experienced something that was really triggering. And all of a sudden your mind said, well, why didn't this person message me back? Or why did this person not hire me? Or why did this not work out? And suddenly you're flooded with a whole bunch of reasons why you are terrible, why you are unlovable, why you are not good enough. Well, it works the opposite as well. When you ask the brain, what am I most grateful for today? It's going to compile a huge list of all the things that you are grateful for and try to find the thing that you are most grateful for. And think about the state of being that you're putting your child in and they will be in when they are asked that question. You could have them ask, why am I so beautiful? Why am I so confident? Why do things always work out for me? Why do I have unwavering trust in the universe? And if you've never even thought about using terms like that with your child, start doing it. See how their energy shifts as well. I'll be doing a whole podcast episode on that kind of language in the future, because that is also very important for the type of environment that you are going to be raising your child in. But have them ask the question because their brain is going to find an answer. Ask yourself that question. Do this practice yourself. Why are you such an amazing mother? Give me 3 reasons and see if your kids can come up with as many reasons as possible. Why am I so loved? Why am I so safe in my home and in my body? Why is it so easy for me to set healthy boundaries and to say no? Why is my word so sacred? Why do I always feel safe telling the truth? And just go through the chakras. Ask questions that are related to each of the chakras. And this in itself will help begin to develop the programming and the somatic imprints in each of those energy centers to make sure they stay in alignment, that they can best support this beautiful sovereign being to remain sovereign. Ask questions, their brain has to answer. And this works in those first 7 years and after those 7 years. And if they do still hold on to programming from the first 7 years that is disempowering, this will begin to train their brain to look for ways that are empowering, look for reasons why they can be empowered. This way will take a little bit longer than, say, going in, doing theta, clearing their programming, and then using affirmations or the questions. But if you don't know theta healing, if you don't know how to instantly access that space, if you haven't taken the seminar yet, this is your starting point. This will still have an amazing effect on how your kids are navigating this world and what lens they are seeing the world from. This will also help to begin to change any programming of disempowerment that they may have picked up in those first 7 years, or that you passed down to them that they're still holding on to. So I'd love to hear in the comments which one resonates with you. If you've tried it out, how did your child respond? What have you noticed that has shifted with adding these, whether the affirmations or the askformations? I'd love to hear from you. One of my favorite things is reading the comments. And again, if there's another mom who's in your vortex that needs to hear this, that is on this journey with us on raising sovereign kids, please send it to her. Let her know that there are tools, there are resources, there's a community here who is going to support her and hold her so that raising a sovereign kid feels effortless and she can do it with confidence. I love and see and honor you, and I thank you for being on this journey. I thank you for doing the inner work, for doing the most important job in the world. And until next time, continue rising.